The river runs cold in October. Sarah Colfax feels it first in her lungs. Not the water yet, but the air liming them, as rough hands shove her head beneath the surface. The Arkansas River tastes of clay and rot. She cannot see through the murky current, but she hears them above. The preacher's wife shrieking about signs and devils. The blacksmith's bass rumble calling her unclean. Her wrists bleed where the hemp rope bites. They've bound her arms behind her back, weighted her skirts with river stones sewn into the hems. The doctrine is simple. A witch will float. An innocent woman drowns. Sarah is 31 years old. She has survived a husband's fists, a winter alone, and the long walk west after her cabin burned. She has asked nothing of Ashford, Colorado, except to be left alone in the lean-to, behind the abandoned stable. She gathered herbs. She knew which bark stopped fever. This, they decided, was proof enough. The water fills her nose. Her chest spasms. She thinks, this is how it ends. Then the hands release her. She breaks the surface, gasping, coughing river water. Through streaming eyes she sees him, tall, dark-haired, fully dressed, and dripping, standing waist-deep in the current between her and the mob. His shirt plasters to his chest. Water pours from his hat brim. "She's no witch," he says. His voice carries no heat, but something in it stops them. He is Nathan Yazzie, the Navajo who works Morton's ranch, who speaks little and bothers no one. He should not be here. He should not interfere. "You got no say in this, Indian." The preacher steps forward, Bible raised like a weapon. Nathan doesn't look at him. He's cutting the ropes at Sarah's wrists with a folding knife, his fingers quick and sure, despite the cold. "You wanted to drown someone, preacher. Start with yourself." He says it quietly, factual. River's deep enough. He lifts Sarah like she weighs nothing, though she is tall herself, raw-boned and solid. She cannot feel her feet. Her lungs burn. "This ain't finished," the blacksmith calls. Nathan wades toward the far bank, away from the town. "It is." Sarah tries to speak, but her teeth chatter too violently. She tastes blood where she bit her tongue. Against his chest, she feels his heartbeat, steady despite the freezing water, despite the mob watching them go. His shirt smells of wood smoke and horse. He carries her a half-mile upstream to where his horse waits. He sets her in the saddle, swings up behind her, and rides north without another word. The October sun hangs low and useless. She shivers so hard, her bones ache. Nathan's cabin sits in a canyon fold where juniper grows thick. Sarah sees it through fever. Wooden walls, a chimney leaking smoke, a single window with oiled paper that glows amber in the dusk. He helps her down. She collapses against the horse, legs unable to hold her weight. "Inside," he says. The cabin is one room. A stove radiates heat. He sits her in the only chair, a rough-hewn thing near the fire, and begins unlacing her boots. His hands are careful, impersonal. She watches him through chattering teeth, too cold to feel shame. "Your feet," he says, frowning at her blackened toes. He fills a basin with lukewarm water, tests it with his wrist. sets her feet in it. The pain as feeling returns, makes her gasp. He wraps a blanket around her shoulders, then another. He pours coffee from a pot on the stove, adds something from a flask, presses the cup into her hands. Drink. She drinks. Whiskey burns beneath the coffee's bitterness. Warmth spreads through her chest. Nathan strips off his wet shirt, hangs it by the stove, pulls on a dry one. He moves with enum, no wasted motion. His back is scarred, old marks, deliberate. She looks away. He hangs her soaked dress and petticoats near the fire, drapes blankets to give her privacy. He does not ask if she needs help. He simply leaves a long shirt on the chair, steps outside. Sarah changes with shaking hands. The shirt hangs to her knees. She smells him in the fabric, sage and leather. When he returns, he's carrying firewood. You can have the bed, he says, nodding to the corner. I'll take the floor. I won't. Her voice cracks. She tries again. I won't put you out of your bed. You're sick. He stacks wood by the stove. Bed's warmer. She is sick. The fever arrived during the ride, heat replacing cold. Her skull pounds. The room tilts. Nathan catches her before she falls, guides her to the bed. She lies down on the corn husk mattress, and he covers her with quilts that smell of cedar. His hand touches her forehead, professional as a doctor's. Burns, he says. She drifts through 3 days. The fever climbs, breaks, climbs again. Nathan is always there, spooning broth between her cracked lips, changing cool cloths on her forehead, holding her upright when she coughs. He does not touch her more than necessary. When she thrashes in nightmares, he speaks in his own language, low and rhythmic, until she quiets. On the 4th morning, she wakes clear-headed. Nathan sits at the table, carving something from pine. Dawn light slants through the window. He glances up, sees her eyes focused, and nods once. Hungry? Yes. He makes cornmeal mush with dried berries, serves it in a wooden bowl. She eats slowly, her stomach uncertain. He eats, standing, watching the window. Why? She finally asks. Why what? Why help me? He's quiet a long time. My oyster, he says eventually. They called her witch, too. Different river. Same rope. He sets his bowl down. I wasn't there. Sarah hears everything he doesn't say. I can leave, she offers. Soon as I'm stronger. Leave if you want. He returns to his carving. Stay if you want. Your choice. And that afternoon, she stands, for the first time, wobbly as a newborn calf. Nathan steadies her elbow, but releases it the moment she's balanced. She walks to the window, looks out at red canyon walls and endless sky. What are you carving? She asks. He shows her a bird, half-finished, delicate wings emerging from rough wood. It's beautiful. He shrugs, uncomfortable with praise. Outside, snow begins to fall, early for October, heavy and silent. It erases their tracks, buries the past. Sarah watches it accumulate on the juniper branches and thinks, maybe here, maybe now. Winter arrives hard. Snow seals the canyon for weeks at a time. Sarah learns Nathan's rhythms. He rises before dawn, feeds the horses in the lean-to stable he built against the canyon wall, splits wood, checks his trap lines. He speaks little, but his silences are comfortable, not hostile. He teaches her things without teaching. How to bank a fire so it lasts through night. Where to find water when the creek freezes. Which plants remain green beneath the snow. She insists on working. Her hands remember tasks: kneading bread, mending shirts, scrubbing pots with sand and ash. Nathan watches her move around his cabin, rearranging nothing, claiming no space, and finally says, "You don't have to earn this." "I know." She folds a shirt, sets it on the shelf. "But I need to." He nods. He understands. January brings a thaw. Nathan rides to town for supplies. Sarah waits, anxious, listening for hoofbeats. When he returns at dusk, his jaw is tight. "Trouble?" she asks. "Talk." He unloads flour, coffee, salt. They're saying things. About me. About us. He won't look at her. "That you're here, that I'm keeping you." Heat rises in her cheeks. "What did you tell them?" "Nothing." He stacks tins with more force than necessary. Not their business. But it sits between them now, this unnamed thing. That night, Sarah lies in the bed, still his bed, though he refuses to reclaim it, and listens to him breathe on his bedroll by the stove. The cabin feels smaller. She is aware of him in ways she wasn't before. The width of his shoulders when he chops wood, his hands gentle with the horses, the rare smile that changes his entire face. She is afraid of this awareness. February. They establish new rituals. She makes coffee before he wakes. He leaves firewood stacked by the door. They eat together at the table he built wider to accommodate two. Sometimes he carves while she sews, the only sounds the knife's whisper and thread pulling through fabric. One evening, he sets the carved bird before her. It's finished. A dove, wings spread, impossibly delicate. "For you," he says. She cradles it in her palms. "Nathan, no obligation." He stands quickly. "Just wood." But it isn't just wood. They both know it. March brings mud and Malcolm Pritchard. He rides up the canyon with two men, Sunday clothes and righteousness. Nathan meets them outside. Sarah watches through the window. "Come to bring her back to town," Pritchard announces. He owns the general store, sits on the church council. Face proper judgment. She faced your judgment. Nathan's hand rests easy near his hip, where his knife hangs. Nearly killed her. A woman alone with a man. Pritchard's face reddens. "It ain't decent. Folks are talking." "Let them talk. You think you can just take what you want? Keep a white woman like." Nathan moves fast. He doesn't strike Pritchard, just closes the distance until they're nose to nose. "Finish that sentence," he says softly. Pritchard swallows. His men shift in their saddles. Sarah steps outside. "I'm here by choice." "Miss Colfax," Pritchard adjusts his hat, "you don't understand what people are saying. I understand fine. Her voice is steady. I'm staying. Your reputation. Drowned with me in that river. She looks at Nathan, then back to Pritchard. You got nothing I want. None of you do. They ride away angry. Nathan stands rigid, staring after them. I'm sorry, Sarah says. I've made trouble for you. No, but his voice is tight. Maybe they're right. Maybe you should go to Santa Fe. Start fresh, where nobody knows. She feels something crack in her chest. Is that what you want? He won't look at her. Want don't matter. What's right? What's right is I choose. She's shaking now, anger and fear mixed. I choose to stay, unless you're ordering me gone. Finally, he looks at her. His eyes are dark, uncertain. I ain't ordering nothing. Then I'm staying. Snow begins falling again, late season flurries. They stand in it, 3 feet apart, everything unsaid, hanging between them like the white air. April brings green to the canyon. Sarah finds Nathan behind the cabin, turning earth with a spade. He's marked out a garden plot, 20 feet square, where southern sun hits longest. Sweat darkens his shirt between the shoulder blades. Thought we could plant, he says, not looking up. If you're staying. The word staying carries weight now. It means summer, autumn, another winter. It means permanence. I'd like that, she says. They work side by side, loosening soil, pulling rocks. Her hands blister, but she doesn't stop. Nathan glances at her palms, says nothing, but the next morning he's made her gloves from soft deerskin. They plant in silence. Beans, squash, corn. She tucks seeds into earth and thinks about faith, about trusting something invisible to grow. That evening, they sit on the cabin step, watching the sky turn violet. Nathan whittles, shavings curling at his feet. My grandfather said something once, he begins, hesitant, about building a home. Said you don't find it waiting somewhere. You build it, every day, with your hands and your choices. He sets down the knife. Said the building never stops. Sarah studies his profile, the strong nose, the line of his jaw, the scar above his eyebrow. Not handsome in conventional ways, but honest, real. I'm afraid, she admits. Of what? This. You. She forces herself to continue. Being happy. Every time I had something, it got taken. My mother, my husband. Though losing him was mercy. The cabin. Even just peace. Someone always comes to take it. I can't promise nobody'll come. Nathan's voice is quiet. World's full of people who want to hurt what they don't understand. But I can promise I won't take it. Won't take you, or leave you, or use you up. She believes him. That's the terrifying part. May. The garden sprouts. Green shoots pushed through dark soil, like promises kept. Sarah transplants herbs from the canyon. Sage, yarrow, wild mint. She builds a drying rack. Nathan watches her work and sees her settling, roots going down. One morning she asks, "Will you teach me?" Teach what? Your language, Your grandmother's songs. He's quiet so long she thinks she's overstepped. Then, yeah, I can do that. He starts with simple words. Yate, for hello, ahehe, for thank you, hojo, for beauty, balance, harmony. She practices while she works, tongue tripping over unfamiliar sounds. He corrects her gently, patient. June brings heat. They swim in the creek pool where water runs clear over smooth stones. Sarah keeps her chemise on, but Nathan sees the scars anyway, cigarette burns on her shoulders, the twisted skin where her husband broke her arm, and it healed crooked. He sees, and his jaw tightens, but he says nothing. Just teaches her to float, his hand steady beneath her spine. One evening after supper, she takes his hand across the table, just holds it. His palm is calloused, warm. He freezes, then slowly turns his hand to lace their fingers together. Sarah, he says, just her name. I know. They sit like that until the lamp burns low. July. The vegetables swell. Squash blossoms opening yellow, beans climbing poles, corn reaching toward sky. Sarah picks the first ripe tomato, still warm from sun, and brings it to Nathan. They share it, standing in the garden, juice running down their chins, and she laughs, really laughs, for the first time since the river. August. Heat shimmers off canyon walls. Sarah unpacks the trunk she's kept closed since arriving, the one possession Nathan carried up from town on his second supply run. Inside, her mother's quilt, a silver hairbrush, a tintype of a young girl who doesn't look haunted yet. She spreads the quilt on Nathan's bed, their bed now, though neither has spoken it aloud, and hangs her mother's sampler on the wall. Home is where love abides, it reads in careful cross-stitch. Nathan sees it, and something in his face softens. That night, when she lies down, he doesn't retreat to his bedroll. He stands uncertain in the lamplight. Come to bed? She says softly. He does. They lie on their backs, not touching, barely breathing. Then Sarah reaches for his hand again. He takes it, holds tight. I'm staying, she whispers. Not because I have nowhere else. Because I'm choosing this. Choosing you. Choosing us. He turns his head to look at her. I'm choosing too. September. They harvest together. The garden yields abundance. More than two people need. Sarah preserves, cans, dries. She is building winter stores, building future. The first frost comes early. They stand in the garden at dawn, surveying what they've grown. Nathan's arm circles her waist, tentative. She leans into him. Next year, he says, we'll plant more, maybe fruit trees. Next year. The words settle warm in her chest. Inside, the cabin smells of bread and coffee. The carved dove sits on the windowsill. Sarah's dresses hang beside Nathan's shirts. 2 cups on the table. 2 chairs. A quilt they share. Outside, winter gathers itself for another arrival. But inside, there is fire, food, the quiet sound of home being built. Not found. Not given, pull, with dirt under fingernails, with careful words, with the daily choice to stay, to trust, to open locked doors one by one. Sarah thinks this is what shelter means, not walls. This. Nathan teaches her a new word. Huhan. Home. The sacred space you build and bless and tend. The place you choose and keep choosing. They are choosing still. If this story moved you, subscribe to our channel for more emotionally powerful Western romances. New tales of redemption, resilience, and love built from broken pieces every week. Don't miss the next journey. Hit that subscribe button now.